Mr. Loftus. Today we're going to learn how to set up our notes and go ahead and get started with our first lesson. So the notes that you're seeing on the screen are actually from last year, and you'll notice at the top that there is a section for a goal, and each set of notes we write what the goal is. Today's goal is draw a picture of equivalent fractions, and so go ahead and do that on your notes. Write goal and then underline it, and then you can go ahead and write in draw a picture of equivalent fractions. You can stop this video at any time if you need more time. The next section is questions. So go ahead and write questions. Please try to ignore the yellow. That's actually from the other page that's behind there, and it just shows through. The questions section is interesting because sometimes we come up with questions as a class, sometimes students come up with questions, and sometimes I'll ask you to write a question in. But for right now, we're just going to leave that blank and go down to the conclusion part of your notes. At the bottom of the page, we have a section for conclusions. Sometimes you'll have to write a conclusion for homework, possibly. And other times we don't get back to it. So we just have that there when we need it. So we're going to get to the main body of our notes. And since today's notes are on drawing pictures of equivalent fractions, those are the types of examples we're going to see. The first one is 1/2 equals 2/4. And again, please ignore the yellow for right now. We do like to use color, but in this case, we didn't use color on this side of the paper. What you're going to see next is a picture of 1/2 equals 2/4. Notice that there's two circles of roughly equal size. The one on the left is split into two parts, and one of them is shaded. The one on the right is split into 4 parts with 2 of them shaded. But notice that the yellow amount shaded is the same. We'll continue on with the next example. Again, you're writing this into your notes. You don't have to use color. You could even just shade. If you don't have color, you can go ahead and write equivalent fractions. The second example is 2/3 equals 6/9. And what you're going to see on the picture is kind of interesting. The first picture is correct. It's 3 parts with 2 of them shaded. But the second picture is incorrect. So see if you can correct that in your notes, and I'll check and kind of see if you're understanding that. But again, the second picture does not have 9 parts with 6 of them shaded. So see if you can fix that from last year's notes. And the third example is 1/4 equals 2/8. I'll stop it right here, and you can see if you can get ahead and draw the next picture before I show it. So the first one has 4 parts with 1 shaded, and the second part is going to have 8 parts with 2 shaded, and it should look similar to this picture right there. And then we'll go to the last page, or the next page, the last page of today's notes, for our fourth example. And that's 1/4 equals 2/8. These are equivalent fractions. So there's a picture of a square with 4 parts, one of them shaded, and then a very similar square with 8 parts and 2 of them shaded. Now, to finish off your notes, I'm going to have you create 2 more examples on your own of equivalent fractions. Be sure you write both the symbols and the pictures on both of your examples.